Hey guys, bringing you a modern prelim tournament on Magic Online here, playing Temur Prowess. So let's see how it goes. This opening hand is a little bit janky, but I'm going to keep it. Not sure what my opponent is on, Mallowless. I have likely played against them before, but don't remember. And we are just going to start with the D or C. And I'm going to wait till turn 2 to try and get a bunch of Surveil triggers. And we're against Amulet Titan, it looks like. That's the only deck that's interested in playing turn 1 Urza Saga for the most part. Unless it's some absolute wild start from, you know, Scales or something, but that seems unlikely. But we might be able to beat Amulet here with some good draws. The question here is, do I want to actually play this Bauble this turn, or do I want to play it next turn when I play the Show-off? I think we just need to get our ducks in a row here and find some spells to cast, right? Okay, putting 2 creatures into the graveyard, 3 creatures into the graveyard, that's not really an ideal start. We may as well see what they're drawing, and it is an Amulet, so they're going to have double Amulet on turn 3 here. This is maybe not the best start to the preliminary we could have asked for. And we drew a land. Never lucky. Okay, they do play that Amulet that we knew about. And we have a Vesuva copying an Urza Saga. And no second Amulet. So they are going to have an Amulet. They're going to have 2 Amulets in play next turn. Does this do anything? Does this do anything? Going to fetch a mountain. And we're just going to see what happens here. Lava Dart your face. Bunch of triggers. Get rid of a Question Druid. Do I want to get rid of Lightning Bolt? I kind of just want to put another Lava Dart in the graveyard, right? This instant is going to get us to 4. So we're going to be getting in for 9 with these guys. And we're going to be getting in for 3 with this guy. So that's 12 plus 1. So we're getting in 13, putting them to 6. Another Lava Dart actually kills them in the graveyard, though, because I can flash them back both. So I'm just going to dig, and I'm just going to try and find second Lava Dart. We didn't find it, unfortunately. But I can still try and find it here. So let's do that. Lava Dart you. Sack a Stomping Ground. Because we put that bolt in, they're guaranteed going to keep that. we're digging hard here, but yeah, unfortunately didn't quite get there. We do put them to 3 on turn 3 after that janky start, so even if we die here on the crackback, that is still showing the power of this deck, I think. Having put 12 cards in our graveyard by just casting some little instants and sorceries and a bauble. Okay, so it's just F6 here, and I won't subject you to sitting through the Titan kill. Might wait to see exactly what configuration of the deck they're playing, whether they have Mirror Pool or, Hanwar Battlements or Slayer Stronghold, whatever their configuration is of how they're going to kill us with the 2 Titans. But hey, maybe they don't have it. Well, this is a 3rd Amulet, but they don't have a land drop anymore. They do, in fact, have a land drop. So triple Amulet plus Dryad. Six mana. One Ring. Okay. Not the worst. Makes me kind of wish I'd kept that. Oh, they just have another Explorer as well. And they're deciding whether to replay their bounce land. They don't, and they play Mirror Pool, so that is kind of what I wanted to know. And they have bounce land in hand, so we are presumably going to die next turn. And I mean, I'm just going to put Giganta in hand, I suppose. I don't think it makes a difference at all what we do here. But they have ring protection, so it is what it is. And we will pass the turn and see what the One Ring has given them in exchange for the grand total of 1 life. Let me know what you guys would have done there if you would have preferred to keep the Lightning Bolt, just so we could, because then we're actually beating the One Ring if we untap. No, sorry, we're not, because we wouldn't have put them to 3 in the first place, right? So, okay, so keeping the Bolt doesn't actually do anything. So don't let me know. Okay, they have 4 amulets. This is kind of taking the piss at this stage. I don't even know how much damage 4 amulets leads to, but presumably it's quite a bit. Although would a Vesuva gone on a Mirror Pool already in play? They don't actually have access to an extra colorless mana for Mirror Pool at the moment. So their land sequencing might have made it a little tricky, but no, I mean, this has to just do it, right? They just give it haste somehow. Or they can just copy it now with... Oh, they didn't get a colorless land. Oh, but they have Telaria West, okay. I think there's like the smallest chance they screw this up, so I'm actually not going to concede. I usually would, but just given the weird sort of the Mirror Pool already being in play and the Vesuva being in the graveyard, I'm gonna make them, you know, show me the kill. They have 1 billion mana. I mean, they can just get Colossus here too, right? And that probably just kills us with Valakut triggers or something. But I presume they just get another Titan. There's the Summoner's Pact. Titan. Gets a Telaria West. Gets a Summoner's Pact. Gets another Titan. They cast a Titan. And this finds... I mean, you know, Slayer's Stronghold just kills us, right? So... Okay, and that will do it. Yeah, Crumbling Vestige gives them the colorless. Plus Valakut triggers will kill us, so we can concede there. Okay, so for Amulet, we're not doing too badly in terms of sideboard stuff. We got Blood Moons and we got Pick Your Poisons. I think we're supposed to bring in all of them. Although, maybe not all the Pick Your Poisons on the play. Maybe we're just supposed to keep some faster cards to just go ahead and try and kill them. It's basically just a race, right? In terms of cards I don't like, you know, Lava Dart isn't doing much, but it is killing them quickly. Expressive Iteration is very slow. Question Druid's very slow. Also, if we're bringing in Blood Moons, it's likely that we're no longer able to cast Expressive Iteration. I think I like maybe cutting all the iterations and the Preordains, just cut all the blue cards. Preordain is good at helping us find the Blood Moon, though, which is kind of nice. But I feel like just having Disruption is better and will string together a win without needing card draw. That's what I'm going for. So, be on the play. This will be a quick matchup either way, I feel like. Hand looks great. Very low curve, but not 0 mana low, so we'll have to mulligan. And the old triple bauble start here, eh? I mean, we gotta keep it. And we'll put back a bauble. And some matchups I would be happy. Have I cut all the blue cards? I think I have. Yes. Go stomping around. Some matchups I would be happy to have a look with bauble first to see if we were getting our second land, but in this matchup I think racing is important, so we got to deploy a 1-drop. They are drawing a Radiant Fountain, which is a pain. But I'm just going to deploy 1 bauble here, I think. Okay, Blood Moon. Maybe I should have deployed both here. That's 1+ for, I suppose, Underworld Breach. It's probably better in this matchup than Expressive Iteration. You know, just when you're able to guarantee the last bolt or whatever to kill them. But it is also possible to bring in Bog against us here when we have DRCs and things like that. So, okay, we'll start off with a bauble. Bauble ourselves. Don't want to draw another Soulscar Mage. So we will go get a mountain, play a Soulscar Mage, pass the turn. And they kept on top with their Surveil, it's good to note. Okay, Mutagenic Growth, pretty decent. Okay, they have a Grazer. Grazer putting in Radiant Fountain, which we knew about. Vesuva copying Radiant Fountain, okay. So that is a pretty decent life buffer. So play the Swift Spear. I don't think it makes a difference here, right? Which way we do it? Yeah, so we just go bolt your face. And Mutagenic Growth this guy. So kill the Grazer and get in for essentially 11. Pass the turn. And they do have a lot of mana, but it's a lot of colorless mana so far. Kind of hoping they just play the ring. Oh, there's a relic. Okay. See what I mean? This is where Underworld Breach, DRC, things like that can be a little unreliable in the face of graveyard hate. Unusual to see relic of Progenitors from Amulet, right? Or maybe not unusual, but certainly not something I see in every list. But we have no Underworld Breach in this deck at all, so yeah, that's really just not a problem for us at all. We haven't drawn DRC either. I'm presuming this is maybe just 1 or 2 relics. I'm not really, I wouldn't consider, cutting DRC. Although it's possible that maybe I should for EIs or something then on the draw. And we do, in fact, find our 3rd land for our Blood Moon. So let's see if they have the Boseiju in hand. Either way, we get in for 6 damage, which is nice. And they are floating the mana here. And let's see if they have it. They don't. Okay. So Blood Mooning successful. Put them to 5. So any spell kills them unless they play the One Ring. Do have the One Ring. And they draw, so they're essentially on 4. And we'll play land and get Gigantha into our hand. Pass the turn. Good fast games of Magic. No messing around. We have a map Presumably getting a forest. I suppose it depends if they have the... Well, I mean, they don't have the Boseiju, presumably. We're seeing a fire spout here, possibly. Some kind of sweeper. And they concede from the game. Okay, so we're getting to go to game 3. Knowing that they have Relic in their deck, does that change anything? You know, it kind of does turn me off these DRCs a little bit. If they brought in the Relic, they likely brought in the Bog as well. So maybe I could consider, you know, just having EIs for a longer game against them. But at the same time, cutting 1-drops just seems not the way to go. You know, we'd be going down to like 15 creatures. And even just getting the surveils is a big deal and stuff like that. And, you know, half the time we can't cast Expressive as well because we have a Blood Moon in play. 61 cards. I didn't notice previously if they were on 61 pre-board. Okay, this hand is great. We got the Pick Your Poison, we got the Blood Moon, we got some spells to juice up our Show-off. We will keep. They keep 7 as well, so likely we see a turn 1 Amulet, I would say. Turn 1 Grazer, okay. And we have Boseiju Otawara in play. Do I want to use a Bauble on the first turn, or do I want to just save the damage for the Show-off? I think I just want to save the damage. Maybe a little greedy. But I mean, we're drawing like 4 cards before turn 3, so. And we got there, okay. So let's play this. Fetch a mountain. Cast our Show-off. Cast our Baubles. This presumably will be the chump from the Grazer. What are you drawing? Grazer. Okay, I'm just going to pop out the Baubles here. Maybe there's a reason why I'm not supposed to do that, I'm not sure. But it seems fine. So do they keep some kind of anti-Blood Moon hand? We sack a flyer, that's okay. Okay, and yeah, I am just gonna... Well, they're stuck on 2 lands, right? They just have bounce lands in hand, probably. Am I crazy here if I just attack and then Blood Moon next turn? Nah, we should just Blood Moon. Never say I didn't consider it. Because if they have bounce lands right now, they get to just play 1 and they don't have to worry about it. They just don't have anything. Okay, that's good. And we will deploy our Soulscar Mage and our Swift Spear. Pick Your Poison kind of acting as nice insurance here. It's like if they ever deal with the Blood Moon, presumably we'll have a target for Pick Your Poison. The draw is Selesnya Sanctuary. DRC, not bad. Do I want to fire off 1 Lava Dart here? I think I probably do. I'd like to get a Surveil. Get our yields on. We don't need another Soulscry Mage. I would like to find some spells. And that turns on our DRC into a 3-3. So now we have a pretty significant clock. It's 5 damage base a turn. Okay, and we have a Vesuva, and that's going to be the One Ring. So, kind of hoisted by our own petard here in terms of being unable to cast Pick Your Poison on the One Ring. But, you know, it is what it is. And we draw another Soulscry Mage. Have to attack with our DRC. And let's get Giganta in hand. I don't, you know, so I don't think holding up mana here really does anything. They are drawing Slayer Stronghold. Okay. They go to discard a Grazer. Okay, Bolt, does that do it? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 14. Yeah, so we had lethal there anyway. But they wrap it up before we swing with the GGs. So, pretty much just a race of a matchup. I don't think there's too much to read into it. You're just racing, and, you know, Blood Moon is hopefully going to shut them down if you draw it. So, thanks guys. See you in round 2. All right, let's get it started. Round 2 of the Modern Prelim. We're playing some Temur Prowess. We got Fede Zano 97. Don't think I'm familiar with this player. We get the GL back. And pretty good hand. No second land, but I would call this probably slightly above average. Opponent starting with the Steam Vents. We could be facing a Mirror, could be Murktide, could be a lot of things, I suppose. And they're keeping up mana here, likely to be Consider, I suppose. But it could be Lightning Bolt. Oh no, I have 2 cats who want to fight each other here. Let's see if it's possible to do this recording while I have warring pets. Hopefully it is. They're chilled out. Okay. Considering we have 2 preordains in hand, I'm going to start here with the Steam Vents. Sorry, let me just try and... Yeah, there we go. It was a little stretched. And we're going to play a Bauble. And it looks like they are going for the Lightning Bolt. Unholy Heat. And we will, of course, save our guy with the Mutagenic Growth. Clutch Mutagenic Growth. And I presume we want to draw the card right away. They're drawing a Misty. So considering it's not a red fetch land, that means we're likely playing against Murktide. So we saw the Misty Rainforest. Okay, they have the Bolt this time. But we made them use an extra mana on their turn, and we got in for some damage. It's quite nice. If we draw DRC, we already have 4 cards in the 4 card types in the graveyard. This seems like the perfect spot to just plot a Slickshot Show-off. Obviously, preordain, you know, we'd prefer to get the value off the Show-off. They could have a Spell Pierce that they could throw out. And this just uses our mana efficiently while playing around removal. We could have also held up our mana for Seek the Beast. Possibly played it in our end step to get the cards next turn. That doesn't seem like it would have been too great of a play. We can always do this later and get some value off the Slickshot as well, maybe. So they're getting Hedge Maze here. And we have a Dashed Ragavan. That's fine. Still going to assume this is some sort of like Temur Murktide list. hit them with the old F6. And they hit an expressive iteration off the top of our deck, which they can't cast. So again, here they can have something up like Spell Pierce, Lightning Bolt, another Unholy Heat. They only have 3 card types, but it'll still kill the Slickshot. So this is a case where I wonder if I want to play into the removal or not. What I'm actually tempted to do here, what I am going to do, is set a stop on our end step, considering they're tapped out, and I'm going to cast Seek the Beast on our end step. This leaves up Lightning Bolt to deal with their Ragavan again next turn if they dash it. We hit 2 creatures to cast next turn, which is excellent. And it plays around them having removal this turn. I'll start with a Preordain, that's fine. And they're going to 10. Their life total is very, very low. And they're playing a Tarmogoyf. Okay, so I guess not a Murktide list so much as maybe, yeah, just Temur good stuff, I guess. Okay. And here it's kind of the question of, is there a reason to save the Show-off? Are they saving the counterspell for the Show-off? You know, they did shock here, left a card on top of shocked, so I think counterspell is looking like pretty likely. So I think I'm actually just going to cast Preordain. Okay, our Soulscar Mage gets bolted. That's the second bolt gone. Do I want either of these? I think I don't want the Preordain, but I do want the Dragon's Rage Channeler. And now at this point, do I want to put the Slickshot into play, considering they're tapped out of Counterspell? They could have another piece of removal. They're down to 2 cards and they've used 3 removal spells though. So I think I actually do want to just cast Slickshot now and just get in for 1 damage in the air. Because I think at this point, Counterspell's looking more likely, right, than another piece of removal. And we have so much more gas in hand anyway that even if they do have another piece of removal, we're going to be able to deploy more to the board, no problem next turn. And if they do have Counterspell up next turn, they're not as happy, you know, countering a Dragon's Rage Channeler or something like that. They do have another piece of removal, as it turns out, anyway, after taking the 1 damage. But they're down to 9, you know, and we have a lot of gas. Okay, interesting. This puts us to 6 if we let it hit us. I think I'm just going to trade with the Ragavan here. They're down to 1 card. We have so many resources. I'm kind of happy to trade 1 for 1. Having used 2 lightning bolts, I'm not really too afraid of being burned out, but 6 is still a very different life total from 8. See, now we have to go to 5 if I want to cast Questing Druid, though, is kind of an issue. Five. Could they be playing Inti in this deck? Could this be an Inti deck? To give the Tarmogoyf trample? That's kind of what I'm thinking of. I suppose I'll be able to chump if that is the case, and they'll only have Inti plus 1 card to discard, so that, you know, it's unlikely that we'd be dead from that. So I think going to 5 is okay here, and given that we also have a second Questing Druid in hand, I think it's worth the pain of shocking. So we can start with a Questing Druid. They're spell snaring this. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Could just be dead to a removal spell now. I'll leave these both on top. I mean, this is a kill next turn with the Sure Shot. So I will, I mean, obviously I'm going to try and jump here. But if they draw another removal spell, so be it, they got us. They drew Iteration, it looks like. They drew a Ragavan, okay. And they're going to hit our Sure Shot, which does make me, you know, I think that was the correct thing to put on top. But it does give them it does give them a blocker. Actually, kind of an annoying spot. But I couldn't have given them Expressive Iteration as the issue. But I should have thought more about that for sure. There was no brick to put on top, is the issue against the Ragavan. Okay, we have no Brazen Borrower or anything like that on the list, so I think this is a case of we just Expressive, hope for the best. Found a Bolt. Found a Swift Spear. We have 3 mana here if I fetch a basic mountain. But I have no way to kill them. Because obviously they just, block the Swift Spear with the Slickshot, and then we're dead. But I suppose I can clear the board that way, right? Because I can double bolt the Goyf. So that's actually the best play, and then next turn we just have Questing Druid to reload, right? So I'll take the Bolt into hand, with the DRC on the bottom, exile the Swift Spear, shuffle the DRC back in, which is not a problem, obviously. I mean, if they have a bolt, obviously they're just bolting us here, right? So, okay, they don't have it. And yeah, we play this and attack. And this clears their board. So yeah, double bolt on the Goyf. Obviously, it's not getting bigger from anything getting in the graveyard here. So if they have Spell Pierce, we're dead. But you know, so be it. Can't play around everything, right? Okay, and that kills the Slickshot. Oh my god, my phone just fell on the ground. My cat pushed it on the ground. It's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. Good girl. Sorry, I have a situation where I have 2 cats very near me, and I don't want to get scratched if they stress out. And they do still have the Ragavan in hand. I actually completely brain farted on that, so that is going to kill us. So there's no way for me to. Well, I could have kept the Swift Spear back or kept the DRC back off the top of that, but yeah, they can still draw removal. But no, that was my fault. That was a complete brain fart. Whoops. Just forgot about the Dash Ragavan. Okay, so on to game 2. What are we going to sideboard against? Sort of Temur mid-range good stuff? I think, sorry, I'm just taking a sip of coffee here. And apologies if you can hear a cat growling. Oh, okay, they're happy though. They're sniffing each other. During sideboard time, I can tell you one of these cats is a 3-legged rescue named Peg. She's one that you can maybe hear growling over the mic, and she is a very PTSD style cat, so she has a lot of trouble socializing, but she's a sweetie. Okay, so I think I'm mostly happy with my main board, to be honest. 3 colors, you know, you could say Blood Moon is okay, but I don't think it's impactful enough to really worry about. Could bring in a Tormod's Crypt just to shrink the Goyfs. again, I just don't think that really does enough, to be honest. Pick your poison. Like, I'm not really sure what targets we'd be looking at for that. You know, doesn't say, like, maybe they probably do have a couple of Murktides, but so maybe I should want like one or something like that. But we haven't seen it, and I think on the play we should just be trying to kill them very quickly. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back without any changes, and hopefully not forget to have a Ragavan in hand this game. Yep, sound looks good. Going to start, I think, just running out an attack with the Swift Spear. Just get in the damage. It's unlikely with this hand that the D or C, I think, will super fast end up being a 3-3. And also, if it does, then it can't block a Ragavan anymore if they play a Ragavan, right? So I'm just going to start by going Steam Vents, Swift Spear attack. I think that is a mental sort of blind spot of mine sometimes, is forgetting the Ragavan dash on future turns. I'll remember it for a couple of turns and then forget they have the option. Because I was even thinking there, oh, they have one guard, and I forgot I knew it was a Ragavan. Okay, so they shock, go Bauble. Bauble us. Interesting sequencing. Holy heat. Okay. Did they think we would spell pierce a Bauble there? Is that why they played Steam Vents first, or should I not take anything from that? You know, if they have spell pierce, really, what would I do about it anyway, I suppose? I'm going to fetch basic mountain here to keep our life total up. Unlikely we need a stomping ground for a while. And we will play our DRC and play a Preordain. Possible that we can get Delirium here. We do not, and do I want another DRC? I think I probably do. Probably put it second from the top. No, you know, I'm going to put it on top. That way, if they dash Ragavan, I can maybe let it hit me, and it'll just be a mountain on top. Although, do I want to do that? Probably not. I'd probably prefer to just hit my land drop and replay the other channeler. Okay, they just cast Ragavan, no dash. I kind of am thinking they have Spell Pierce here. Given they shocked before they played Bauble turn 1. I don't know why, but that just strikes me as like a weird play. Here, I'm just going to go Channeler. I mean, okay, what, minor misstep or something? Stern Scolding, okay. That's fine. Then I will just Lava Dart their Ragavan. That turns this into a 3-3. Could have attacked first, I suppose, but that seems silly. I don't think I need another Lightning Bolt right now. I'd prefer to just have another threat. Like, I'd much prefer to draw like a Show-off or whatever. I know I am casting Expressive next turn. And Bolt is a great card in the matchup, obviously, but I don't feel like I need a third one. Like, if they play a Goyf, it's too big for it to matter anyway. Okay. Feels like a Goyf is coming now. Could be a Murktide. Okay, it's not a Murktide. That makes me feel like they don't have Murktide, the fact that they got Stomping Ground instead of Breeding Pool. Interesting option. I'm going to start with expressive. Interesting options. So for sure putting Slickshot in my hand, I think. And then just bolting their face. Those are kind of the only plays. Yeah. Like I could have taken Bolt, said, oh, I'm going to draw another haste creature, but that just doesn't seem too likely. So we can just do this, put them to 6. We're on a healthy 16 here. I'm not too worried about the idea of dying out of nowhere. It seems to just be straight Temur, right? We haven't seen, you know, any tribal flames or action or anything that would indicate that. Okay, they're just hitting us for 5. They're leaving all their mana up, then I'm certainly inclined to just plot our Slickshot. If they double bolt us down to 6, then we're still alive on 1. Let's start with a preordain. That resolves. I'm going to keep a Soulscar Mage, cast it. This in combat against Tarmogoyf is actually doing pretty well, right? Turns it into a 2-3. And this itself would be a 2-3, so they would bounce if they have nothing going on. And they are casting Seek the Beast in response. Okay. They hit 2 lands. And we're just passing. They're down to 1 card. They surveil. It puts Scalding Tarn in the graveyard. 3 mana. What is it? Flame of Anwar or something? No. They don't have wizards in their deck. Brotherhood's End deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. This is only if I control, right? Yeah. But I can have this kill their Goyf, and my guys survive. By doing this. Okay, that went pretty well. And they are tapped out. I just want to cast Expressive here, honestly, while they're tapped out. Like, I don't really care about casting Show-off. And this is just lethal no matter which way you slice it, right? Yeah, so, and bottom, exile. Go get a mountain. Okay, so we won the game 2. Now we have to win on the draw against the Ragavan deck, a little bit tougher. So we didn't see much in the way of basics. Blood Moon might actually be a thing against them. They do have Brotherhood's End, so they're going to be able to cast some expensive spells under a Blood Moon. Tormod's Crypt might also be a possibility just to win on the board against the Tarmogoyfs later in the game. But I mean, their Goists are still going to be pretty big given our deck. Maybe I want Spell Pierces in, now that we've seen they have Brotherhood's End. Mutagenic again. It's just looking great against this damage-based removal. I just don't want to. I don't want to cut it like ever. Yeah, it's kind of amazing that they found Snell's spell snare targets. Although I guess this is pretty important for them to kill. I think I kind of like having spell pierces against them. I feel like our preordains weren't too amazing. I don't want to cut Swift Spears because they block Ragavan. They didn't really have any way to mess with our graveyard, so I don't really want to cut Lava Darts. It also kills Ragavan. I think I'm happy enough cutting Preordain. I'm maybe a little greedy with the amount of times I'm happy to cut these cantrips. But I feel like in this matchup it's okay. Okay, and here we have 2 removal spells for Ragavan, 2 1-drops. We got this with the Show-off. Plenty to do at 1 mana. This is an obvious keep. And we will keep. Opponent baubles. See, this time before playing their land. Last time they shocked first, which is just kind of weird. That's why I noticed it in the previous game. Okay, but it's Spire Bluff this time, which I suppose is coming in tapped either way. And this time they targeted themselves, so they likely have a fetch land in hand, and they liked the card on top, so they decided not to fetch. And here, I'm happy to just play out a Soulscar Mage. And I am just going to play out a Bauble because, you know, as nice as Prowess triggers are, hitting your second land drop is also pretty nice. This guy dies, that's fine. They have a Lightning Bolt on top of their deck. Like, I could have held Lava Dart up there to stop the turn 2 Ragavan dash. But I don't think it's that big a deal. And, you know, if they didn't have the removal there, then that looks like a great spot for us. Okay, there's a DRC. We managed to hit our second land drop, just like we drew it up. Kind of feel like I have to get Steam Vents here, given that we have the iteration. So life total dipping a little bit lower than I would like it to be. And here it's funny, it's like, do I want to keep up double Lava Dart? I don't think so. I think I just want to play DRC. Possible I want to play 2 creatures here, maybe, right? Is it possible I want to play 2 creatures here? We have 3 card types in the graveyard. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play both of these out. And go, I think, pretty clearly go no attacks with the Swift Spear if it resolves. I think that would be a pretty bad idea into the open mana. And our DRC is getting bolted, so that's fine. They put a land in the graveyard, so that's their 3rd type for Delirium. That does mean I can attack, but I'm still not going to, because I would prefer to block a Ragavan if I'm given the opportunity. like the damage comes in such huge bursts with this deck that I don't feel like you need to nickel and dime them for every little 1 point of damage like that. You're just, you know, if you get to a game state that's advantageous for you, you're gonna blow them out in one turn anyway. They have the turn 3 expressive here. They surveilled a Question Druid into the graveyard, so they're looking for a land. Exile a Stomping Ground. And they do shock it in. Which basically means, you know, Bolt or Unholy Heat, right? So kind of interesting that they're not just using it when we're out of mana. Put us to 12. The life total is getting a little bit scary. Okay, and our guy is in fact getting bolted. And they're keeping a card on top. Okay. I think this is just the turn that we expressive while they're tapped out. Use our 2 mana at sorcery speed while the shields are down. And Question Druid in hand. Exile a Scalding Tarn. And pass the turn. So very much been a battle of resources here. That 2 life did cost me from the shock, but it meant we were able to play that expressive iteration. And I think our turn would be much worse there if we just plotted a Slickshot Show-off or something like that. Gonna get another Steam Vents because we did bring in those Spell Pierces, so extra blue sources, definitely where we want to be. This is a tough one, man. We're like not really in the best state here. We're just dead to a bolt if both of those guys connect. Haven't seen a bolt ourselves. We have mana to pay for Spell Pierce. And we cannot get them dead. The damage we're doing currently, for example, if I played Swift Spear plus Slickshot, that's 2 base damage. Plus a Lava Dart is another 4 damage. Plus Flash It Back is another 4 damage. So that would be 10. Actually, then 14, 18 with double Lava Spear. 1, 2, 1. No, because we could only cast 1 Lava Spear, because I would need to cast this. What I feel like I need to do here is Seek the Beast for removal on their upkeep, which means not spending any of the rest of my mana. Or I can cast a Show-off just to have a blocker, and then cast Seek the Beast on their turn in combat and hope to just trade with one of them and get value off our Seek the Beast. I feel like that's the most concrete plan. That's what I'm going to go for. But it actually just loses if they have counter magic here, right? That's the problem if they just have counter spell. And they did shock in the Steam events. So I'm actually going to pass and I'm going to look for a Seek the Beast on their upkeep. I'm going to thin the deck first. I'm just going to get a mountain. They do have the Spell Snare, so that would have gotten my guy. So they put a Spire Bluff in the graveyard. They put a card on top. Okay, I'm gonna presume the card they put on top is like either a counterspell or a bolt, which kills us, which means I feel like pretty priced in that I have to like very aggressively kill one of these creatures with a lava dart. with two lava darts rather and a flashback. I know this looks a bit ridiculous, but I'm like pretty confident that I'm dead if I don't do this. Okay. Second DRC, that's what they kept on top though. That's what they kept on top. Are we believing them? They don't want to attack, it looks like. Okay, so they didn't keep a bolt on top then, because surely they would be happy to attack. They tried to take back the must attack. So I feel like they maybe don't have anything. But I'm in a tough spot here. I think what I essentially have to do is just play out the creatures and just hope they just have absolutely nothing. Because I can't even use my fetch to go down to 3 because then I'm dead from a single one, right? So I think we just have to do this, and if they have counter, they have a counter. And here we may as well bluff. But okay, so that's Unholy Heat, so our Slickshot is in fact dying. Cards going in the graveyard, they have 0 cards in hand. They're keeping the second card on top, which just cannot be good for us. But maybe we're not dead. It's possible we're not dead. Wait, what am I talking about? I don't have a blocker, we are dead. GG's, I was thinking I was still surviving on 1 somehow. Okay, bit of a brain fart there to end the match. So not my best played round of Magic ever, but very interesting matchup. Seems very close. Again, just both decks having very low curve, a lot of the same cards to be honest, but a lot of efficiency. Kind of what you would expect is they're just a little bigger, not as all in. They don't have the slick shots, so having kind of just the more kind of higher quality Magic cards, they're able to take the win there. I feel like that was close. I'm not sure if there was a path to victory in that game 3. Obviously, I punted the game 1 against the Ragavan, so that very likely I could have won. But this game 3 on the draw, I'm not really sure what I could have done differently. So if anyone has a line they see in the comments for this one, please do comment, because I'd love to get some opinions. And I'll see you in the next round, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, here for round 3 with the Temur Prowess deck. We are on the draw against Keto Fall. Don't think I recognize this player. And our hand is totally fine. Just probably bang average, I would say. No blue source for the preordain, but that's not an issue. We're on the draw and we have a bauble. So plenty of looks before we're going to need to cast this. They're starting with a Thoughtseize. Don't mind that. I mean, you know, they're taking our only threat here, obviously, with the Swift Spear, but just not a big deal. And they're going down to 15, so I quite like that. Way better than getting griefed or whatever. Start with a bauble here. Another land is certainly not where we want to be. So let's get our Steam Vents and we'll preordain. I don't think I've seen this art before for preordain. What is this from? Dual decks Venser versus Koth. Cool. Okay, hit up our preordain. Not seeing any threats. I'm just gonna go bottom. Can't worry about playing around a Ragavan or whatever when we're just seeing crap like that on top. We gotta just do this and pass the turn. Another land, so super flooded here. This was the vulnerability of this hand, I suppose. Quite vulnerable to, you know, a single removal spell or a Thoughtseize. But, you know, the game's moving at a slow pace. They're going with a Surveil land here, turn 2. Even if I got Grief Scammed or something, I'd say, okay, whatever, you know. And they don't know about our double steam vents or our second bolt. I think I just want to play a tapped Stomping Grounds and pass. I think it's very unlikely we want to double bolt. Like, you know, yeah, literally Grief Scam or double Thoughtseize or whatever. You know, Grief Scam is basically the only time I would want to get both bolts out of my hand. I'd prefer to just protect my life total, possibly for later, by getting this in tapped. This matchup, I think, is pretty even. Again, it's kind of similar to the Temur matchup last round. We're just we have lower card quality, but much higher nut potential, I think. Do I want to kill this guy end step? We have plenty of mana, so I don't think so. I don't see mana being a constraint this turn. So yeah, we do in fact draw Swift Spear, which is nice. Let's kill this guy, don't give them I know they can only really screw up here, but still, let's just play like normal people. We're just going to attack. I'm not going to do anything silly like Bolt Face here or whatever for damage. I'm just going to play a Mountain here. I want to have Lightning Bolt up, and I don't really want to lose life for no reason. It seems pointless to put it in the Steam Vents. And we have the Stomping Ground from the opponent, so I believe Canister kind of, I don't know if he came up with this or just popularized it. I think he top-8'd a Modern Challenge with this Green Splash for Pick Your Poison, and maybe Haywire main deck as well. Oh, but it looks like we're actually against creativity here rather than Scam. It's kind of my first time realizing. I saw the Persist in the graveyard, but obviously now with the Dwarf token as well, it's pretty obvious. And they're leaving 4 mana up, so they don't have creativity, or perhaps they just thought, okay, they probably have another Lightning Bolt. And they are just dead here if they don't block and they don't have Fatal Push or whatever. But at the same time, do I want to go for it? They got 4 cards. They know we have a Mutagenic Growth. We have double bolt to stop them creativitying next turn, if they have creativity. If I Mutagenic Growth now, it's +3 damage. That puts them to 7. Double bolt puts them to 1. Means they can't fetch. So I think I like that, actually. It doesn't really matter if we spend the life here or if we spend the mana. Probably spending the mana was better. So let's just do it like that. They do have the Fatal Push, okay. So down a card here, unfortunately, but we do have the double bolt. And our hand is unknowns to the opponent. Bitter Reunion obviously resolves. Lightning Bolt goes in the bin, okay. No attacks here, very disciplined from the opponent. Not going to use one of our Lightning Bolts. We still need to beat a creativity for 2, right? And we just have a 3rd bolt. That's pretty sick. This is just like pretty pretty good odds. Drawing all our bolts in the top 15 cards is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's happened because we haven't drawn any threats and we've hit all our land drops, but can't complain, right? The issue is we still have to, you know, use two of them oh, they're just attacking with this guy. Okay. We still have to use two of them to stop creativity. There's the show-off. And I mean, like 9 is the same as 10, right? So I may as well plot this guy and make them feel like they're safe. There's no way they can think we have triple bolt in hand. And it's, you know, they must be leaving up just more removal here, so I don't really feel like playing it this turn does anything. Like, putting them to 10 is quite funny because then the fetch puts them to 9 and they're dead, but I can't just hope that that's what they'll play into. And obviously they resolve one creativity, the game's over, you know, they gain life, they have a big flyer in play that we can't get through. Okay. Stomping Ground is not what I wanted to see, man, but okay. Draws are a little bit frustrating. I am just going to try and attack for 1 here, because we got a lot more damage. They have a bolt. Okay. And at this point, while their reflection is tapped out, I'm going to bolt it. Just so they can't make a copy, like hit a land, copy a dwarf token, and creativity both the dwarf tokens. I feel like that would be pretty bad for us. Having to waste a card on nothing. Obviously, it stops us from being able to, you know, just kill them after they fetch, but I don't think that was likely to happen anyway. Like them just dying to their lands, so. Like, you could say, oh, but they're doing it now, but they wouldn't have had to do this, right? If they didn't lose the reflection. So we get the bolt. They're like, goddamn, a third lightning bolt for real? And I suppose I could have gotten Giganta in hand this turn. I didn't think about it. Certainly will this turn. See what you're drawing. Commercial district. Wouldn't be surprised if they fetch anyway, so we can't get to use that. But hopefully it's just another creativity for 1 next turn. And we're able to counter it again with the bolt. Ooh, that's great. And yeah, they have commercial district in hand because they didn't fetch. There's the surveil. This card's fantastic in Jund creativity, I think. I've really liked this deck. Thoughtseize goes in the bin. And maybe now we're just hoping Big Mama Giganta does the job on them. Soulscar, also a great draw. I think now I'm just going to leave up Soulscar Mage, or leave up both removal spells, obviously, rather than jam a Giganta here. That seems like it would not be the best idea. Black, red. Huh? Bitter Triumph. Okay. Discarding an Archon. That can't be good for us. Do they have Persist in hand? I don't like that, if so. We're pretty well set up against creativity, not so much against Persist. Thoughtseize us. Okay. We still got a removal spell no matter what. They probably take Bolt. Maybe they take Giganta if they got no gas in hand. No, they take Bolt. And they do have a Persist. Brutal. We'll discard Lava Dart, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I suppose discard Gigant to draw Sure Shot, and that makes them... I know, they have haste anyway, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, just can't beat the persist end of things. So, in this matchup, Spell Pierces seem great, Surgicals seem great, Tormod's Crypt, kind of a maybe. Blood Moons seem really good. Pick Your Poisons seem fine too. This is a matchup where I feel like we have a lot of options. This is a matchup where we're going to be cutting Mutagenic Growths for sure. They do have Wrenn and 6, but we saw Bitter Triumph as well as Fatal Push. So the removal is not so damage based. So let's say let's cut all the Mutagenic Growths, to be honest. See how that looks. And I like having all our 1-drops. I like our Lava Darts to kill the Dwarf tokens. Preordain, I'm not mad for. Expressive, I'm not mad for. Tapping out at sorcery speed. But these cards are good against Thoughtseize at the same time. Do I want the Blood Moons? You know, I think I do want the Blood Moons, which makes me want to cut the blue cards entirely. Yeah, I'm doing this because I think this Jund style of their deck as well, especially, is much more combo-y than sort of the combo control that you'll see from the blue-based creativity decks. So I'm actually going to put the Mutagenic Growths back in, 3 of them as well. And I'm going to run it like this, especially on the play. On the draw, maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll go back to trying to draw some cards and stuff like that. But on the play, I think I'm happy to do this and just try and jam. Hand is absolutely beautiful. Could consider holding up Spell Pierce for Thoughtseize, but you know, it's just as likely that they have a Fatal Push or a Bolt as a Thoughtseize. So on the play, I think we should use our mana proactively and just drop the Soulscar Mage. Also makes it tough for them to play a Wrenn and 6 on turn 2 if they don't have anything. Get a Steam Vents here since we have Spell Pierce in hand. And we'll pass the turn. Feel like we flooded out pretty hard last game. I feel like the way that game played out, a lot of the time we're winning that game. Just drawing some extra threats. Here, I think we're just plotting a Show-off just to give it Spell Pierce protection next turn. I'm going to shock aggressively for a Stomping Ground, given that we have the Questing Druid in hand. Let's do that. And this version of creativity, the combo version, is more kind of... It's less reactive. It's less able to play a control game. Obviously here, if they just put a Titan or an Archon into the bin and persist at turn 2, we're screwed. They put a creativity in the bin. So that probably means they already have one, or they're very hard up for lands. Or they have a way to persist an Archon already. Okay, no Wrenn and 6. And you know, they could have some kind of Anger of the Gods or something like that on their turn. Do I want to just keep setting up this turn? Just play a DRC, pass with Spell Pierce up, and not even play the Slickshot? It's kind of what I'm leaning towards here. Just have a really big turn next turn. Yep, I think that's the play. Would prefer to be also attacking with this DRC. You know, giving us an extra mana for a burn spell or something on that turn. Commercial District. I feel like they do have persist in hand, probably, if they don't have any other plays. They've been just getting the surveil lands instead. If they jam Fable here, obviously we spell pierce it. They're thinking. Maybe deciding between removal and playing out a Fable. They do play the Fable, get spell pierced, and I imagine they're dead. Blood Moon. Yeah, we can put that in the bin. Enchantment in the bin for DRC. Which is still not going to be turned. I know it still might not be turned on, yeah. Just funny. Okay, we draw Questing Druid. So, yeah, I don't think they're actually like, definitely dead or anything. Yeah, 3+3. I don't know. I'm not doing the maths. I'm just going to see how much we attack for here. I don't care. Bolt in the bin. I would like to draw land if possible. They go to 12. Yeah. So that was lethal. They're on 12, so they're facing 6 here. 8, 9, 10, and then the flashback, 15 or whatever. So that definitely worked out well. They seem to be on the plan of just sort of hope I hit an Archon to put in the bin and get a quick persist off, and then they had turn 3 Fable. I don't know if we can really rely on that much when they're on the play. But at the same time, it still doesn't really attract me that much to bring preordains and expressives back in, right? They have thought seizes, which it's nice against, but I feel like we have to be holding mana up. Maybe instead of a couple of mutagenics, I would pick your poisons. So then we can actually possibly beat a single Archon. You can make them sacrifice it, but I feel like the plan has to just be, no, they don't get to resolve an Archon at all. So I feel like I'm just going to leave it like this. We'll just hit play again. So no interaction, 2 threats, getting in for a little bit of damage, card draw. Something is telling me that this hand isn't good enough to keep, even though it looks pretty reasonable. It's not actually killing them very fast, right? We don't have any interaction for creativity. We don't have a spell pierce or a surgical to stop the fast persist. It feels like we're a million miles away from actually using the Questing Druid. This feels like a 6-card hand already. And obviously the bauble is a blank. But it does have 2 threats. This makes something survive a lightning bolt. And we have a redraw with bauble and a fetch land. So I think that's enough to make me keep. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a mulligan. That's something I'd be interested in hearing in the comments if you guys have any opinions on this keep. But I do like to mulligan a lot, which is maybe incorrect. I'm never going to not play a 1-drop here. So I kind of have to do this, get a Steam Vents. Soul Scar, and I'm just gonna bauble now as well because it's possible that they can just persist next turn, and it's possible that we draw surgical off this bauble, right? So okay. Creativity on top. They won't be drawing that anyway, but that's fine. Pass the turn. And they left 1 on top. Left 1 on top. What is that likely to be? Removal? Dwarven Mine. Okay, I feel like they have to have removal then. I'm a little confused at that, if I'm honest. Just gonna play Swift Spear attack with both here. Could have plotted the Show-off instead. Also would be fine. Maybe better, in fact. But this is great if they decide to bolt something here. But maybe using our mana efficiently was better. I don't feel like using our mana efficiently is that important this game, considering we have a third land, you know, and these questing druids and stuff are kind of not going to fit into the plan nicely anyway. Okay, so we do get to save our Soulscar Mage. They correctly do it at end of turn, save themselves a bunch of damage. And unless we get very unlucky, we're not getting persisted here. No, they didn't play a fetch or a surveil land. Fable is pretty good here. That's what they got. Yep. Okay, assuming we don't draw anything, would we go for a hero attack here if we had nothing? Is there any chance they would block? I think not. Surgical. Surgical is probably pretty good. You know, Archon in hand, they discard it, they go to persist it. I think I just go attack with both. There's no way they block. Maybe they do block. Okay, they definitely have persist then. Seek the Beast. Kind of an awkward spell to have to cast. Also, why did I play my land drop first? That's probably one reason why they blocked. Yeah, just mutagenic. Okay, so but I didn't actually miss a land off it at least. That's nice. We get in for damage. Life total is going very low here, but we will, yeah, go mountain. Swift Spear. And you know, it could be creativity. They played turn 2 Dwarven Mine or whatever. What did they play? Yeah, turn 2 Dwarven Mine, turn 3 Mountain. So if they have creativity here, then, you know, fuck me, I guess. Okay, they did discard an Archon. And they do have to persist, it looks like. Yeah, so Surgical pays off. And obviously taking their Archons here should be GG. Just looking at the rest of their deck. So in hand, they have Bitter Reunion. I'm going to just X this out. Bitter Reunion, Fatal Push, Turn the Earth, Renin 6. Let's put those there. They can see the match. Okay, so that's GG's against creativity. I feel like in games 2 and 3, our opponent had like pretty below average hands. Game 2 is very difficult for them on the draw, I think. That's my little cat complaining for food. She will get food soon. Game 3, I feel like maybe they should have gone to 6 rather than keep this. It feels like they were all in on this persist thing, but it wasn't happening until turn 4. They didn't have very good mana to deploy. I don't know, man. It didn't seem like... it seems like they should be trying to combo off harder in this matchup, in my opinion. But GG's anyway, and I will see you guys for the next round.